Now, Mr. Dangote was able to join us. He had a meeting with the minister before. That's why he was a little bit late. But I would like very much to introduce him. For those who don't know the Dangote Group in Nigeria, it's a premier group in manufacturing, in agriculture, in banking, oil services. They are almost in every aspect of the life of the Nigerian. Very successful, Pan-African, and I can assure you that we are very honored to have him in Canada. And he's going to talk about agribusiness and the importance of it in his country, but also in Africa. Mr. Dangote.
Thank you. Good morning, all the protocol observed. I'm not good at doing all the protocols, but I say good morning to everyone and thank you for this wonderful summit, the first one. My big brother, Mr. Dangote, for inviting me to come and be part of this wonderful event. Well, you give me a role to talk about agriculture in Africa, which is to me a very important issue. And I think once we address this issue, it will resolve most of African problems. Well, I just start by the first paper, and I think somebody has got my USB. So if you can go into, say, the next page, which is saying, why Africa? Why Africa? So we can talk about so many issues, but we need to talk about agriculture in Africa. As we can see, I don't see the page changing.
Right there.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. You didn't teach me how to do this.
I told you that. There it is.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So we're in the right space now. You know, we say why Africa. When we say why Africa, we know why. Because with hundreds of millions, almost about 1 billion people live in this continent of Africa. And today Africa is having a lot of so many issues, from food to energy, infrastructure, and so much about poverty also, which really Africa has no business with these problems if we address the issue of agriculture. As we all know from these many sources from World Bank and ADB and FAO, agriculture in Nigeria and in Africa is so critical. As of today, most of the uncultivated arable land in the world, over 50% of it sits in Africa, unutilized, with over 202 million hectares of land unutilized only in sub-Saharan Africa. If you look at it, it was Latin America, Europe, East and Central Asia, East and South Asia, and the rest of the world. You see Africa has got almost 50% or more of the uncultivated land in the land of Africa. When we talk about what Africa is on the move, you can see the population, you can see the GDP as of today. These are all sources from World Bank and McKinsey. It's about 1.6 trillion collective GDP, over 900 billion African combined consumer spending. Currently about 1 billion people live in Africa. 2/3 of the sub-Saharan Africa population lives in mostly urban areas. 1/3 of it. Now tomorrow when we look at about 2020, when we look at 2020, 2025, you can talk about 2.6 trillion of African expected collective GDP if the right things are put in place, with a population well over 1.4, with African combined spending more than 1.4 trillion. The population will be over 1.2 billion by 2025, and we expect by 2030, half of its population will be living in the urban areas. Now, you look at the land and water agriculture and urbanization scheme. This is a map of Africa, which shows you sub-Saharan Africa, with some dotted areas to show with the population higher than 10 million, 6 million, and so on. You can obviously look at Nigeria, you look at Sudan, you look at Rwanda, Angola, you look at DRC, you look at Cote d'Ivoire, you look at Gambia, Senegal, Dakar, Liberia, and Ghana. These are all the... Now you look at also the imports of food in Africa, which I said it really has no business to being where it is today if really we put the right investment where it belongs to. This data is also from World Bank. You can see in 2011, Sub-Saharan Africa imported over $43 billion of food, which it can actually grow. If Africa can grow this much and it doesn't need to import this, all these resources will not be wasted by using their meager, foreign reserve to import this food, which they can actually grow. And most of these account for wheat, rice, palm oil, and sugar, which account for more than 40% of these imports. And definitely, when you look at it, even the oil palm that today Africa imports originally was from Africa. It was taken in the 70s or late 60s to Malaysia, and today Malaysia, Indonesia dominate the world, while Africa now reverts to importing it instead of exporting it. So you look at all the food from wheat, vegetable, rice, sugar, vegetable oil, rice, sugar, food preparation, meat, alcoholic beverages, tobacco, milk, corn, pulses, or fruits. There's no need for Africa to import this. We have the land, we have the people, we have the know-how, but we need the modern technology, we need the modern engagement with those who have pioneered it. When you look at the import versus the export, you can see from Nigeria how much we export of food is so little, how much we import is so high. The next comparative to where they can claim of export more than what they grow is South Africa, and maybe Cote d'Ivoire also this is just because of cocoa, I believe, in Cote d'Ivoire, not because of other things like rice and vegetable oil and so on. So there's a lot need to be done and need to be taken into proper perspective in Africa when you look at all these statistics. Now, I move a little bit more to Nigeria, where I'm more familiar with than the rest of Africa. When you look at the map of Nigeria, we look at the population with 170 million people and 36 states and central Abuja as the capital. You look at the Nigerian ecology, soil and climate within different segments of the country, with the rainfall precipitating area from 500 millimeters to the north and the deep south, end of the south up to 4,000 millimeters. Now you look at the middle belt, the kind of interior zone of the laterite soil, the driving savanna climate, the rainfall, the potential of cassava, rice, horticulture, citrus, and many others. You look at the southern belt, you can look at the arid, semi-arid, and northern Guinea and South Guinea savanna. And you look at the rainfall between 1,500 mm to 4,000 mm. You can do feedstock, horticulture, and many other products. So when you look at this kind of potential, you wonder why East Africa and Nigeria as a whole are facing imports of food where they can actually grow. Just a small map to show you the type of soil across the belt, the rainfall pattern. You can see the pink area with the under 100 cm, and then with the yellow 100 to 200 cm, and then 200, 300 cubic meter of rainfall within the year. So these are very fertile land, and with all the potential to grow as much as one wants to engage into. I move a little bit closer to where I'm from, Kano State. In one state alone, we have over 17 dams, and this is neighboring almost the 12 states within the zone. And there's a Fadama where we call Fadama farmers. These Fadama farmers are engaged. This is a belt where the water laydown is quite high, and these are farmers that can grow all within the year many other crops. So today they are supported with the World Bank, developing into different crops. We also from Dangote are participating in some of this Fadama, which I will come to discuss about it much later. And then, so you can see the agroecological zone in Nigeria also is quite defined, and these sectors we know. Now you look at the financial outlook in Nigeria currently with the revised GDP calculation, we talk about 510 billion being the number one economic now in Africa. We talk about 24% of the GDP is coming only from agriculture, which is a sad one. We believe with agriculture taking its own place, definitely Nigeria should play, and the GDP participation in agriculture should be much, much higher. We look at what Nigeria will be in 2035. We expect, with all things being put in place, we should be over 1.6 trillion. Agriculture should play a higher percentage of GDP at then, and then Nigerian economy consumption class hold will be over 160 million people, and with over 120 million people moving to, above the poverty line. You can see the challenges. We call it challenges, not really a problem, because when you see the trend, how it moves, you can see that in the past, from 1960, how it's been moving. With all the interruption with the military regime and so many things, but since this stabilization of democratic regime, you can see from 2000 to 2010 how the economy has been performing at about almost average 8.6% growth on a cumulative basis. And this kind of issues, with all the problems today we're faced with, all the Boko Haram and all these insecurities, still Nigeria remains one of the top investment opportunities in Africa. I know that issues, but still they have been addressed. But we look at these challenges not really of a major problem. We look at these challenges, opportunities, and people should look into how they can get engaged and how they can make these opportunities to reality. Now we look at the agro and agro-processing in Nigeria as a whole. You can see the challenges, you can see the opportunities and the incentives there. Very well, everybody knows that in Africa today, most of the issues are the farmers are not so coordinated and so organized. They're all mostly living in the what you call sustaining just themselves or their family, immediate family. So sustaining their families obviously is not getting them the best result out of their farming agriculture. And then low yield in that area, poor road network from the villages to the marketplace, and then poor harvest and a lot of losses and lack of process capacities. These are all the major issues. But you look at the potential with 170 million people growing at almost 3%, 2.8% to be sure, and available fertile arable land and abundant water resources and so much. And then you look at the Fadama initiative, which is quite a large acreage where World Bank is organizing these farmers to be into cooperatives. And today they are putting them into different cooperatives so they'll be able to harness their energies and the values and be able to contribute better. And then you have companies like Syngenta, DuPont, and other agro seeds and agro input working with the ministries concerned and private sector to make sure they provide better seedling, better know-how, technology to get the farmers to get a better yield, and engage in some other private companies to be more involved into agriculture. And then the government coming up with a policy of staple crop processing zones across the country. They've selected 14 states, and what they do is in each of the area they will put up facilities, infrastructure, water, power, road network to encourage the farmers to be in cooperative societies, and then the private sector to be able to harness those values by providing processing facility and some kind of price guarantee scheme within the processing zones, staple crop zones, so that the farmers get a certain value guaranteed within the season, and the processors get a certain bracket or price regime of the crop they intend to process within the region. And then you have the central bank, Bank of Agri, providing now a lot of funding. Over 200 billion, it's about $1.3 billion extended to agri activities from 10 years and above up to 15 years, with a single digit between 9 to 7%, depending on the sector you intend to get engaged with. So I believe I need to run up because time is not on my side. You can see ACOS region where Nigeria plays. You can see the values of this Nigerian imports and also the production, the consumption, and also this oil farm and all the other products. Maybe I'll run into a little bit of the area where it matters. In our own group, we are involved in already in some of these major projects. We're putting in a lot of money, about $1 billion into rice and sugar production. We're putting in tomato processing plant with 1,200 tons, which should be commissioned in October next year, which is just to harness these values. We're putting up, currently you can see the system, what farmers use and what we're putting into the tomato processing factory, which should be commissioned in October. And this is the kind of project we believe will help Africa move forward. And in the sugarcane, we're putting in, also in the south, we put in about 50,000 on oil farm. We provided already a lot of 100,000 seeds to the farmers to be our grower source. We put in about $1 million also into our nurseries to be able to, in a few more years, to develop our oil farm. This is our own commitment from Dangote. For sugarcane, we're doing almost 250,000 hectares. We already have a sugar raffinery. We're doing rice with about 1 million tons we expect to start from next year. So we believe Nigeria is a land of endless opportunities, and Africa as a whole, and we welcome everyone to partake in the engagement with Africa. Well, thank you very much for this very few minutes. Thank you very much.